Okay, picking up on page 155, we're talking about copyright of software applications and how, as an author, you have the choice of what level of copyright you want. And there's there's a GNU public license, a GPL, which a lot of people use if they want to go the shareware, freeware route. Okay, on page 157, they talk about productivity applications, and they go about these categories. And we're going to go through practically each one of these things one at a time, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. But at the bottom, towards the bottom of page 157, they talk about what you typically can do inside some productivity application. And they talk about, you're going to be creating some sort of a document. You're going to be editing the document. You're going to be formatting it somehow. You're going to be saving it, and then you're going to be, distributing it to other people. Anyway, that's kind of boring. Let's move on. On page 159, they talk about word processing. Now, this is a typical kind of application you'd find in an office. And word processing originally was designed to create paper. That was its purpose in life, is to create paper documents. Now, it's more than that. Now it's more like document management and saving these electronic versions of documents and things of that nature. So I'm going to open up a Microsoft Word document I have here. So I've got, okay. So I've got a Microsoft Word document that I've created here, and this is the syllabus for the course. You've probably seen this before. And this is just Microsoft Word, and I've got I've got centering, and I've got headings, I've got all sorts of titles and hyperlinks and sections and bold and underline. And this thing was originally designed to print. And so it's got page breaks between the major sections and things of that nature, cool little charts and things like that. And then, again, it was designed for print. Now, do I actually print this thing out? No, I don't. But I do save it and give it to people. And so I could post the Microsoft Word version of this out on the university's website. I could. But instead, what I really want to do is I want to create a portable document. And one of the categories of software that we're going to talk about in just a second is this document management stuff. Well, one of the easiest way to do document management is to save things in PDF format. Portable document format, which created by Adobe. And so Adobe Acrobat, Adobe Acrobat Reader. Now, I don't have a full-blown version of Adobe Acrobat installed on this machine. So does that mean I cannot create a PDF file? No, that's not what that means. If I go here to File and do a Save As, I can tell it that I want to save this as a PDF. Cool. So I hit the button. I'm going to uncheck that. And so basically all I've done is I've saved my document as a PDF. So now I can send it out to practically anyone. Practically any device, any type of handheld device, Linux, tablet, God only knows what. Doesn't matter what it is. Almost everyone can read a PDF file. Not so with a Microsoft Word document. I could, if I was going to email this to someone, I would never email them a Microsoft Word document because they may not have Word installed. Okay. They make a distinction about clip art. When you're in one of these guys, you can do an insert and you can hit a clip art gallery. Now it's going to show me all the clip art that's installed on this machine, which may not be that much. And so I can go in here and type, I don't know, fruit. And hit the button and it's going to come back. And I'll shoot, it only found one. But if I hit this little button down here where it says find more at office.com, it's going to pop out to the internet and find me a bunch of clip art. Now, in theory, because I've searched for it through this system, I have been granted license to use that clip art. Okay, this is important because you don't want to, produce a legal document. You're going to send to court and you're using a piece of clip art which you do not have the rights for. Wow, talk about hypocritical. So yes, if you go through these normal routines, like inside the software itself, you have been granted the authority to use those clip art. Now, if you just go out to the web directly and go to one of these clip art sites, you'll have to read the fine print to find out whether or not you can actually use their stuff. Okay. The next category they talk about is presentation software. And yes, we've done that before. I am not going to save that. How about this? This is that presentation that you've probably seen before. Now, this is really designed for doing a slideshow presentation. And I will tell you right up front, the slideshows is not designed to replace the human, okay? It's not designed to be a standalone document where you learn everything from the slides. It's supposed to help the person giving the presentation, not replace the person giving the presentation. This is an important thing, a distinction that you really have to make. You know, when you're in corporate world and they ask you to make a PowerPoint presentation, it's designed to keep people focused, keep them on track, keep things so you don't forget to talk about something. You know, bullet list, boom, 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 boom. But it's not designed to replace the speaker. Okay, that's very important. Typically, these things are shown up on screen, so you have to have big fonts and, you know, very, very short. You don't worry about punctuation at the end of bullet lists, things of that nature. You know, it's designed just to jog your memory and keep you on track. So you kind of go through these little slideshow things and boom, 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 boom. Okay? Cool. So we've done one of these before. This is Microsoft PowerPoint doing presentation. The next one they talk about is doing spreadsheets. Now, sometimes you do spreadsheets because you want to do some very high-powered math. I'm doing some finance kind of stuff where I've got profit and loss statements and I've got sales. I need to do all sorts of stuff. But other times it's very simple stuff. It's something like I just want to do some analysis of some numbers. So here's an example of a spreadsheet which is not a financial app. I have had a laptop that had an internal battery and an external battery that you use together, and I noticed that the batteries were draining at a really strange configuration. I couldn't quite figure it out. So I just set up a little stopwatch, and so every few minutes, I don't really know exactly how many, I would stop and look at the battery and wrote it down in this little chart. So this is the time, and this is how much charge was remaining on the main battery and on the external battery, and I charted it out. So in this particular case, I'm not doing math, I'm doing analysis. And I'm using not just numbers, but I'm using graphs to do the analysis. Because to tell you the truth, I couldn't, by just looking at these numbers right over here, it wasn't immediately obvious that what the curve looked like. That the one battery ran and then flattened out, and then the other one ran until it came back. I mean, that wasn't immediately obvious by looking at the numbers. But by looking at the chart, I could tell exactly what's going on. So, spreadsheet software, sometimes it's just hard number crunching, and sometimes it's just very simple analysis. Perhaps just a graphical representation of the data alone is all that you need to do the analysis. Cool? Okay. Database. I'm using Microsoft Access here as my database. Now, databases are typically designed, more than likely, for tons and tons and tons of data. Unlike the previous one where I only had like 2 columns, if you can eyeball it and look at it and go, yeah, okay, I got it. If you can do that, you probably don't need a database. You know, for example, I wouldn't use a database, I wouldn't use Microsoft Access to keep track of the members of my knit club. Okay, there's 12 people that come over, and whatever, and I want to keep their names and addresses and phone numbers and when's the last time they should. I'd probably do that like in Microsoft Excel or something simple, because I don't need to do any analysis whatsoever. This, on the other hand, is a database of everything you ever wanted to know about the computers installed in your home. I mean, it is extensive. It goes on and on and on and on. You know, what the machine names is, and what the model is, and the serial number, and you know, what versions of the operating system that they're running. I mean, all sorts of stuff. All the running processes on all of the computers. There's 890 records in that row. Let's go to the event where there's a bunch of stuff. Okay, there's 7,451 records in this table. Now I'm way beyond eyeballing it. I can't look at this and go, well, I can see what's going on. No, the heck I can't. I need a real database now. I need a real database that allows me to do some very tough analysis. And we're going to have an entire chapter talking about how to do all these good things, so don't get freaked out. But big data, that's the whole idea. The relationship of data and size is kind of weird, but if I can't eyeball it, I'm going to put it in a database. Okay? Cool. Let's continue. Note-taking software. There's an awful lot of software out there. For example, in Microsoft world, there's a piece of software called OneNote. And OneNote is pretty cool. If you particularly if you have a pen-based computer, this is pretty cool because you can write with your pen. You can bring, one of the cool things you can do is if I want to take notes, let's say I'm grading your paper, I could print. You turned in a Microsoft Word document. I could print that to OneNote, and then I could scribble on it with my pen and circle things and write off, that's great, or that sucks, or whatever. So it's a very, very cool note-taking software. Okay. By the way, I do not use OneNote when grading your papers. That was just an example. Okay. Cool. They talk about calendar and contact management. This is big business in the corporate world. I mean, email, of course, is the king. Being able to keep a list of all my contacts, keeping my calendar and my tasks and my to-do list. I know some supervisors out there who actually use this type of software to keep track of. Okay, I sent out 5 tasks, and here's when they were due, and here's when they did them, and my performance appraisals are based upon how fast you react to the things that I get you, the tasks that I give you. They do their performance rating using task management software, and in Microsoft world, that would be Microsoft Outlook. Okay, pretty cool, huh? All right. The next one talks about software suite. On the bottom of page 163, we mentioned before that Microsoft Office is a suite of applications. As you see here on the list, there's an awful lot of stuff here. And to tell you the truth, there's some of these things in here you may never ever use. You may look at that and go, what the heck is that? Like InfoPath. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure what InfoPath is. I might not use that. Okay, well, that's perfectly okay. You didn't pay extra for it. Okay, project management software is kind of cool. I mentioned to you before, if you're like in a company building a bridge, and it's a very complex thing, things have to happen in a certain order. You have to clear the site, and you have to order concrete, and so this is designed to sequence you just dump in all the tasks that need to be done, figure out which ones need to happen before the other one, and it all figures it all out for you and says, step 1 is do this, step 2 is do that. Very cool software. And these are the ones where you print them out on these gargantuan plotters, you paste it up on the wall behind you in your office, so when people come in, they can say, where are you in the construction project? You point over to the wall, we're in week 42 here, and see, we're getting ready to pour concrete on the 3rd site. Okay, very cool stuff. It helps people it's an easy way for them to see what resources are going to be required. Once you've done all that, you can say, my God, in week 41, I need 20 people here to do that task. But in week 42, I only need 5 people here. So, I have to hire and fire, and it allows me to do cost estimates. It's a fantastic piece of software. And once again, we're not going to do that here. But you need to know that it exists. Okay, this is probably a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll pick this thing up again in just a few.